Okay, so welcome to this week's Thursday 30. We've got Becca from Widgit with us today, who's going to talk about InPrint for us. InPrint 3. Yeah, I'll pass you straight over to her. Thank you.
Lovely. Hi, thank you very much, Mary. Thank you for having me. My name's Becca and I've been working for Widgit since September last year. And just a little bit of background so you know where I've come from and why I'm working at Widgit now. So I taught in a mainstream classroom for 10 years, and then I spent my last 4 years working in an autism specialist school over in Nottingham. And then when I had my little boy, I decided I just wanted to be a little bit more flexible, and I moved to Widgit. So I ended up working there, which is absolutely wonderful, and now just making lots of resources for everyone and delivering training sessions like this. So absolute passion for helping people to communicate in any way possible. So that's why I've ended up where I am. So I will get on with the training and I'm going to start sharing my screen. If Mary or James, if you just let me know if you can't see it. Okay, so you should there just see my little one is just popped up. And I'm just going to go to the website. Lovely. So I'm just going to start by quickly looking at the website with you all, because this will just be where you'll be able to get any extra support and things if you need it. And we do just want to remind people we are an IT company, so it's Widgit, not Widget. So if you think of IT in schools, that's how you can remember that. And then on this page you'll find lots and lots of different information. So the about symbols is a really good place to look if you've got any questions about symbol usage and finding out a little bit more about good symbol use. You can look on there. Another really good place to look also is success stories. And you might want to share this with parents and other professionals, because there's lots of real life situations of where symbols are being used, not only in schools, but also across different sectors such as tourism, leisure and arts. So we've worked with the Shakespeare Arts Company, and then we've also worked closely with the NHS and the Criminal Justice Service as well. So just some lovely stories in there that you might want to look through. But the place that you'll probably end up more if you're struggling with anything will be support. So if you just click on that support link just there, and if you go to InPrint 3, then there's lots of questions and things. There's also a pre-recorded, if you go to the Getting Started webinar, there's a pre-recorded version as well, where that's an hour's training session that will go into a little bit more detail than what I go into today, because I'm just going to show you the basics. And you can also book up for the full hour training sessions as well. There'll be some more of these added for the summer term coming up also. And then the symbol resources just in here, really, really useful place to go, because this will be where you find pre-made resources that can be downloaded as PDF if you haven't got an InPrint 3 or Widgit Online subscription, or you can get the InPrint 3 version that will download and go into your InPrint 3 software as well. So our most recent one is the King Charles III, the Coronation Pack, but one that's coming up, it's going to be quite a big pack that'll be released in about a month's time, is the Autism Support Pack, and that's going to be split into the 4 areas of need according to the Educational Healthcare Plan, and there's going to be about 150 resources in there, and there will be a home version that's more geared towards supporting parents and a school version as well. So I just encourage you just to have a look through there and download any of these resources, and I will show you where they end up when you go into InPrint 3. Oh, there's someone there. There we go. Someone in the waiting room. There we go. Right, so I'm just now then going to go into the software. So when you've downloaded the software, you'll see this little printer with all the rainbows coming off it, and that is InPrint 3. Now we are looking at InPrint 3 today, which is the software version. In the desktop version of our software, we've also got Widgit Online as well, which is an online version which can be accessed from anywhere. Again, you can get free trials on both, so you might, if you haven't got the software already, you could have a little bit of a play. But today we are looking at InPrint 3. InPrint 3 I found much more beneficial when I was working in a special needs setting, because you can, I'm just going to let somebody in, there we go. Because in InPrint 3 you can much more easily personalise your resources and make them more bespoke and more specific to the needs of the user. So that's what I'm going to be looking at today. So if you just click on this, you get this screen. The latest version is 3.73. So this is how you can check which version you're on. And then if you just click on this, you get this And then you will go to this home page just here. So this will be what you're presented with. And when you're on this page, you can see it's highlighted blue here. So that tells me I'm in the templates section. And in here, there are lots of different folders with pre-made templates. So I'll just click on games and activities for now. And if I click on that, you can see that those templates are already there, ready made up for you just to pop your own information to. So I just recommend when you get some time, I'm going to go back to templates, we'll look at a couple more. It's got flashcard templates. Just have a little bit of an explore and see if there's any pre-made ones that you want to do in there. But today I am going to look at making your own. Also, like when I went to the website and we looked at the pre-made resources, if you download any resources, they will go into this section here, resource packs. If you click on that, and then these are all the different resources that have been downloaded to my computer. So if I click into the feelings and emotion charts, and then you can see that that one is in there. Just going to go back. Remembrance Day, that's obviously all the Remembrance Day activities. So that's where your resource packs that you download from the website will go to. Okay, but for now, I'm going to show you how to create something from scratch. So you just click on New. And then you will get this page that looks a little bit like a word processor. Now you can see at the moment I'm clicking, nothing is happening, everything is grayed out because we need to create something to pop our information into. Okay, now when I go into here, the first place that I usually go to, the tab that I use is usually pages. Okay, so if I pop over to pages, because in here I can then see whether I want to have my portrait or my landscape, because that's going to be the first thing that I decide. So I'm going to keep this in portrait, but if I wanted it landscape, you simply click on the orientation, it'll click it to landscape, portrait, it'll change it. You can also in here as well change your margins as well, which can work as a guide for your content. So if you click on margins here, at the minute it's set to normal. You could make them narrow, you can make them wide. You can have none at all if you wanted. I personally like the normal ones, and this blue line just gives me that guide for doing that. Okay, from here as well, you can also add extra pages. So you've got at the top, if you just click add, and you can add a page in front or a page behind. There we go. So you can see at the bottom, because I'm clicked on manage pages, it is showing me those pages along the bottom. So from there as well, I can delete pages. If I take that manage pages off, the toolbar at the bottom will disappear. You click it on, it will appear again. And then from there, you can duplicate pages, delete pages and add pages. And also if you're making a book and you need to see what content is next to each other, if you click on book mode, let's add another page and it'll show you it. There we go, and it'll show you it as well in book mode, and those pages then can be swapped around and moved along the bottom. And if you want to add more than one page, just click up how many you want to add. It'll add the pages in for you. Book mode or single page mode, and you can swap all the pages around. Okay, so that is in your pages tab. So I've added lots of pages in there, so let's get something made. So the way that I'm going to go and do that, I'm going to look over here and I'm going to look down at this left hand side ribbon. Okay, and this is the main place that you're going to be able to add information from. So the first thing that we're going to do, you can add in frames, okay, and this is obviously where you type your information. So you can type in, you can add in a styled frame, a clear frame or speech bubbles from here. So I'm going to click on this one and you can see it's set to symbols and text. If you want to just text only, you click on text only. Symbols only, you can click on symbols only, or symbols and text, but just be aware you can change that at any point when you make it, so don't worry if you don't do it first thing. So I'm going to pop in a styled frame and I'm going to use my margins here to add that one in. So I've done a styled frame and I've stretched it out there. Okay, I'm just going to build up, I'm going to create a little communication passport and model that. So I'm going to get it in its basic format for now and use the different features, and then we will go back and edit everything. So if I go back over here, I want to add in a clear frame. I'm going to pop a clear frame in here. And in there, I'm going to pop in the child's name that I'm working with. So I'm going to type in Louis, okay, and as you see, as we type, it comes up with a symbol. Now names are defaulted, so it will come up with the male or female representation of that, and then it will also come up with the first letter of the name as well. So you can see at the moment I'm clicked in that frame, and if I want to edit that frame and I want to check that the layout of it, I'm going to click on frame just here at the top. So that's the one that I'm working in, and at the minute it says content grows with frame. I want though that this symbol to be quite big. I want it to fill it, so I'm going to click on content fills frame, and then I can also change where I want that to be. So at the minute it's to the left over there. I want to just pop it into the center. Okay, so I've kept that as it is, and I've got Louis in there. The next thing I'm going to do, so from the frames, I'm going to add in a speech bubble to show you how I can do that. So you can choose whichever speech bubble you want to. I'm going to drop it in. There we go, got the speech bubble. And now looking at that frame isn't quite in the right place. I'm going to click on it, and I'm just going to move it over to the side. So I've got the arrangement of that. Okay, just there. And then now what I want to do, I want to add in a little table at the bottom. Now we've got flashcards and we've got table for these. Flashcards, all it is that you've got the gaps between them, so you can cut them up into flashcards. This one, you've got your tables, so they're all squashed together in a table. I'm going to go for some flashcards now, and I'm going to create that one. I'm going to pop it into here and just drag and resize it. Okay, so I've added in all of those different features over there. So that's it there in its basic form. But what I want to do now is I want to edit this, and I want to add some information into it also. So first thing I'm going to go to, I want to do my first frame. So I'm going to click on the outside of that one, and I want to change the background of it. So now that I'm clicked on that, it's showing me it's got that dotted line round on it. That's what I'm working on, that big one just there. And it's showing me that it's got symbols and text in that one, but I haven't typed anything in there. But I am going to change the line colour. So I'm going to change it to whichever colour I want. So I think I will go for, we'll do a red border. And then the background, I'm going to do a very pale yellow border just there. The line thickness, I want it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to make it thicker just there. And also the corner radius, I want it nice and neat. So I'm going to pop it down to 0. And make it squared, so you can change that your frame wherever you pop them. And if I wanted a shadow on it, I could add a shadow. You can see it's just got that slight shadow around it. Click back on it. I'm going to drop that shadow off just there. There we go. So I've changed that frame. I'm now going to go to the speech bubble. So I'll click in there, and you'll see that frame tab will change to a speech bubble tab. There we go, and it's clicked in. I can see my cursor, so I'm going to pop my information there. As I type, it comes up with that smart symbolisation, and it brings up the symbols for me. Okay, so it's typed in what I want. Now I'm going to come back to the text in a moment, and I'm going to show you how to combine information and stuff. But for now, I'm leaving it in that basic form. So I've typed, and it brought up a symbol for each word. And then down here, I'm going to pop in some things that Louis likes and dislikes. There we go. So I've popped all of my information in, and there it is in its very basic form, but it's not looking how I want it to. I want to change the colours. I want to make sure that the symbols are specific, and I want to make sure that it's as relevant as possible to Louis. So that's what we're going to work on now. So first of all, we're going to go to the speech bubble, and just like I did with the frame, if I click on that speech bubble tab just there, I can change the line colour and the background colour of that. And if I wanted to, I could also move where the part of the speech bubble was, just like that. So you can move it round. So let's click on it again. Change the line colour to, change that one to red, and we'll change that one to a light blue. Okay, so what I want to do here, that just looks a little bit busy for me. Okay, and also this is not representative of Louis. Okay, I don't think that's relevant to him. I want to make it a bit more specific. So rather than symbols, if you want to add photographs, you can do that. And all you need to do is you go down here to pictures, and this will take you to wherever your pictures are on your computer. So if I click in there, and it's taken me to where my photographs are. If I look at my camera roll, I'm going to scroll down, I'm going to find a picture of him, and I'm going to drag it across. It'll make a little box above the words, and then I just drop it where I want it. There we go. So I've changed that. So there is Louis. Okay. Also looking up here, I don't really like the my and my name together. Okay, so what I can do is I can combine the symbols. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight over the two words, just like that. And I want the name symbol to be the primary symbol. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click and I'm going to make sure I'm on the symbol there. And then I'm going to set this symbol for selected text, and that will combine that one symbol over my and name if I do everything right. Let's go. There we go. So I've made it much simpler now. Okay, it looks much less busy. Hello, my name is Louis. I've added a photograph in there of Louis as well. Now down here, okay, I don't want to, I'm not going to use that symbol. I want to replace it. So you can see now over here on the right hand side, you can see Louis' photograph. That is there now. Okay, so I can click on that and it will automatically change it for me because it's recognised that Louis is spelt the same there as here. So I might want to use that. So let's go. So it won't change it automatically for you. You'll just need to click and change it. So I'm going to change it to that. Now I don't actually need the text here. Okay, so I'm going to go to this. I'm going to have a look and I'm going to go to my frame, okay, because I don't want the symbol or photograph and the text below. There we go. I'm going to go to frame. And then along the top here, you can see at the minute highlighted blue is symbols and text. If I wanted it just text only, I'd click on that and change it to text only, but I want it symbols only. So it's going to change it to the photograph for me. And it just looks a bit tight. So I'm going to resize that slightly. There we go. I'm going to keep it like that. So he's got his photograph in. I'm now going to go down to this symbol. Sorry, we're going to go down to the table at the bottom and I'm going to click on that. Now this is a table. It has got dotted lines around me. So that is telling me that it is working at cell level. If it's at dotted lines, you can see my cursors there and I can move between cells and change individual things. So if I now went to change the border colour, I'm going to go to cells up here. If I want to change the border colour, you might get frustrated with this and think, why is it not changing it? Because it's in cell mode, it will only change the one colour on that cell. If I want to change it so every single colour in that, every single cell in that one changes, if you click on it there and it goes solid, that is now working at table level. So it will change the line colour to whatever I want it to be. So I'm going to change that one to green. There we go. So I've got that there. If I just wanted to change a certain selection, you can also highlight across. So I'm going to change those top ones. I'm going to keep the line colour as it is. I'll change it to that green things, but those bottom ones are things he doesn't like. I'm going to highlight across in my cells column, change that line colour to red, the background to pink, and actually just a slight bit thicker, I think, make it a little bit thicker, just like we did earlier. And I'm happy as well with where everything is organised here. So I've gone to my cells and I've changed where things are. But now I want to go to my formatting ribbon because it doesn't quite look as neat as I would like it to. So if I go to formatting just here, okay, and this is where I can change some things around. So, and this will change the cells and the colours and things in here. So we're going to work on changing the symbols. So the apes is absolutely fine. I'm happy with that symbol. That can stay there. If I look at this writing, it's all just a little bit, it's not all the same size, which I don't like. So what I can do, and I'm working at table level because it has got the solid line around it. If you click on tidy cells for me, it will change it so all the text is in line with each other. and it makes it so the cells, some of the writing goes a bit smaller, but it's that bit more uniform. And then if the symbols just look a bit too small, what you can do is you can just click on up and make the symbols a little bit bigger. So it'll keep it nice and neat for you, but you can make the symbols a bit bigger. So tidy cells, I always like to use that one just there. If we look here, so we've got our ear defenders on there. Now, it might be that those ear defenders are not the right colour for you. OK, those ear defenders are red, but Louis' ear defenders are blue. So you can change the colour of symbols, and you just know go there to the little art palette. So if you click on the little art palette, if I click on red, it will then come up with lots of different colours, and I can change the colour of those ear defenders to whatever colour Louis' ear defenders are. So I'm going to click OK on that one. There we are. It might be that the symbols in colour are actually a little bit too much for your young person. It might be that you want them to be black and white. So you can do that up here. So you can see that at the minute, the 4 coloured squares are at the front, which tells me the symbols are in colour. If I click on that, it will change my symbols to black and white. And the little colours come to the front just there. Because I've made changes on that one, it hasn't done that one. So that's how you can make symbols black and white if you want to, and it will go to whatever the colour is of the background of the cell. So if you did want it black and white, you just have to change the cells black and white. There we go. That's it. There we are. So I've got my ear defenders, quite happy with that. Blanket, I am not overly happy with that. It's a weighted blanket that we use, but we haven't got that symbol for the weighted blanket just yet because we're waiting on the autism symbols to be uploaded. So what I can do is I can retext that. OK, so if I wanted to say something different, so up here, I'm going to go click on change symbol text. It comes up with that green box. I'm going to type in weighted blanket. It will let me change the text, but it will keep the symbol there for me. And I just click OK, like that. Let's have a look at writing. Now, that is not the symbol that I want for writing. If you look over to the right, you can see in your symbol chooser, you can choose the different symbols just there. And I know it's the actual writing bit, the bit getting that pencil in the hand that Louis doesn't like. So I'm going to choose that one for now. Busy places, those symbols aren't relevant. Not what I need. Which busy do I need? Let's see which one's going to work better. I'm going to click on this one, so choose the symbol that I want. And as I did earlier, I'm not going to keep those 2 symbols. It looks a bit too busy for me. I'm going to highlight it over, and I want to choose the selected symbol for the text. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to set this symbol for the selected text just there. I've changed it round. And let's have a look at sand, because he does like being at the beach and building sandcastles. It's just that texture of it in school he doesn't like. I'm going to change it to this one for sand. So I've chosen the symbols that I want, and I've changed the colour of them as well to fit in to make them more relevant to the child. Also in this document, you can change as well. I'm just going to zoom in actually so you can see this symbol a little bit more closely. So you can see here where there's a symbol that's got more than one person in it, the skin tones will be mixed, and that is up here in this function. So if you click on skin tones, it's showing show varied skin tones in symbols. If for some reason you didn't want it varied, you just click that off and it will turn it so all of the symbols are the same colour, and they will be the colour of the chosen default symbol that you've got for that document. So if you want to change the symbols for a different user, you just simply click and you change the skin tone. You can see there, because it was dotted, it hasn't changed it to my whole document. Let's click the whole document and make sure that the skin tone is relevant throughout. And then just like in a Word document, if you want to, you can change the font to whichever one you want. So these fonts are in here. We haven't got Sassoon, which a lot of people ask for, but if you have got Sassoon on your school laptops and it's installed on there, InPrint 3 will pick it up so you can use the font that is relevant to your school. So I'm going to change it to, which one should we change it to just so we see it? We'll change it to this one. There we go. So you can see the real change with that. And then just like in Word, you can then make it bold, italic, underlined, and change the colour of the text as well. Now, if you were making lots of different documents, you do not want to be going back and having every time to upload the photograph of Louis, or do my name is, it might be that you want this to save. So what you can do is you can save those changes, so whenever you type into another document, those changes will be there and ready for you to go. And the way you can do that is you just go into symbols, you go into save symbol changes, just in there, and you can see all of the changes that I've made. I'm going to click on user word list, and then add all should light up for me. That's telling me now it's ready to add that. And when I click add all, they will disappear. And if I click OK, that will save those changes for me for next time. OK, so that's a really, really quick zoom through on how to use some of the features in InPrint 3 and how you can build something up and make it individualized to your user or to the person that you're working with. I'm just going to show you something really, really quickly that a lot of people find useful, especially in school, and that is how to switch on the restricted symbols. So restricted symbols are symbols that are a little bit more explicit and that we might not want children to see. So we haven't got these switched on all of the time. So I'm just going to type some words in for now. So if I type poo, and if you look over on the right hand side, you can see over here there's just one symbol for poo. Keep your eyes on this right hand side as I switch on the restricted symbols. So to turn on restricted symbols, if you need some more explicit symbols and you're explaining really key concepts, you can go into symbol settings. You go into more options, and then you've got your drug and substance misuse, human reproduction, psychiatry, and explicit symbols. And if you click OK, that'll switch them on. If you put save as default, that will save it whenever you open up a document. It's completely up to you if you do that. I never did it because I know that if little fingers get on laptops, the first thing they're going to do is type in and see what words they can find. So I always just do it for the document that I'm working in. Click OK. And then you can now see that a different selection of symbols has come up at the side. And as not nice as some of these are, but it is sometimes needed to teach children, you know, that the poo does come out the bottom. This is what you need to do. You need to sit down and the poo will come out. So then you can type in any of those sexual symbols, and then they will come up for you. So we'll delete those out now. There you go. But that is just a really good feature that a lot of people do need for if they're teaching PSHE or sex education and things like that. So that is 4 o'clock, so that has flown by. So just a really quick whistle-stop tour of InPrint 3, but I hope that was useful. And if anyone's got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. My email is just Rebecca 1b2cs@widgit.com. So do feel free to drop me an email if you need to, if you've got any questions. I hope that was useful.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Becca. That was really useful. If anyone has a question, do feel free to unmute your mics and ask away.
Please do.
I think it's all quiet on the question front. Yeah, it was really useful to see though, Rebecca, how you can then build up the document quite quickly and make all those changes. That's very useful. Thank you.
Good. And hope, yeah, it is very quick one. So do take time to go back and watch the pre-recorded if you need to, or like I said, just do drop me any questions via email. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.